I'm just saying, somebody gonna take this and it's gonna go, and I'm not even gonna trip on it.
Nah, man, why don't you get one? That you got to do it.
But
Don't
then everybody,
give them
see,
the
I
vision.
felt I was gonna do that, but
Nah,
then I
that's what you
felt
gotta
like
do.
motherfuckers was gonna be like, you just trying to make up for the dumb shit you said.
Fuck what people say, JD. Fuck that.
All right.
Get to the money.
You're right.
You know what I mean? In between the MO and the NEY, you got this.
That's a good end way to what you want to go into what we talking about. You got something?
Well, I mean, now we gonna get into that too, but I want to talk about because now you got because people now expect success from you.
Yeah.
So
no, they don't. They actually don't.
But the thing is, though, when you have like so much success at one time, like huge, Crick Cross was huge. They went diamond, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, they sold 8 million.
That's diamond. They're probably 10 times platinum now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you have so much success right then, you went from nobody thinking about JD to being mentioned with Dr. Dre and being mentioned with the same people who you said you were motivated by.
Yeah.
In one year, damn near.
Yeah.
So now people are like, okay, what he gonna do next? So when you see Escape, what was the journey in I want them to look like this, sound like this, and I feel like this is the way to present this to the world?
The same idea that I had with Crisscross with Little Boys in the Hood, because once I finally got my deal and I had a conversation with Escape, I realized that they were young, and I felt like the young people in the music industry weren't getting any kind of looks at all. I knew how hard it was for Crisscross. I knew what people were saying about me, as a young producer, and I felt like a young singing group, girls, they was gonna get overlooked by En Vogue, because it was that was gonna be the choice, and En Vogue had all the glitz and the glamour, right? Once again, this is my first label. My first group on my label. I'm not really sure I got all the glitz and the glamour. I got a deal. I don't know if I can compete with what I'm looking at. What I'm looking at looks like they spending millions of dollars.
Right.
What I'm dealing with is $400,000. You know what I'm saying? What I'm dealing with. Yeah. So I'm like, and I'm like 400,000. Couple of million, it's gonna be a battle that I ain't gonna win, right? So I just started saying, we gonna be anti all that shit, and y'all gotta look like where I'm from. The singers at that time didn't feel like they wore this.
Yes, they did. See, and I'm gonna tell you something else that you've done that was brilliant. You've taken shit that, like coming from Atlanta, like you said earlier. We ain't really get no notoriety. We ain't get no attention. We ain't get no credit for the shit we were doing. But your exposure to the industry showed you what works coming from other places.
Yeah.
So to me, I feel like Crisscross was the kid version of Das Effects. You know what I mean?
100%.
From Atlanta.
Yeah.
I feel like Escape was the female version of Jodeci, coming
100%.
from Atlanta.
100%.
I feel like the Brat was the female version of Snoop. You know what I'm saying? So I think that you have had okay, wait a minute. I know what I want to do. I ain't got enough money to do exactly what they doing, but I could do Atlanta's version of it, and I'm gonna make this shit work.
100%.
I think that's really what I have seen from JD that ain't nobody else been able to replicate.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate that.
So now, Humming coming at you.
Yeah.
I know the girls is naturally talented. They naturally star. Were they always this opinionated?
No.
They weren't?
No.
I can't imagine my wife not being.
Tiny was actually one of the quietest ones.
Huh?
In the beginning.
What?
Yeah, in the beginning.
In the beginning. That was a very short period, I bet.
In the beginning.
I can't imagine that.
Because she was, Tiny was probably the quietest one out of the group in the beginning. So in the beginning of this group, they actually operated like groups that we've seen in the past where it's a leader.
Oh, and who was the leader?
Tasha, from what I remember.
Okay, Tasha was the leader.
Tasha, it was, you know.
She led with the voice.
Yeah, well, it was her group, I think, in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I think, and I said this before, I think that's where, you know, the disruption of the group came from me not paying attention to that element. Because here come a group, their leader is Tasha, and Jermaine first single that he want to put out, Candy singing the lead. That's the explosion in the beginning of the whole group.
You know, see, I want to know this because I've invited them onto the show, and you know, I just say I ain't been able to nail all four of them down and to get them here to this counter. I mean, I have a lot of love and respect for Escape as the group and all four of the girls personally. Of course, I have a huge affinity for one of them in particularly, but. Man, they are legendary Atlanta, like, fundamental. Like that, if you think of Atlanta and the beginning of Atlanta, you think of Outkast, Goody Mob, Escape, JD, shit, you know, you gotta go, of course, Shadi, Kilo, DJ Toon. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all the quintessential principles of culture that built this city. You know what I'm saying? The shit that they did, all of them, you know what I'm saying? The shit that they did set the stage for the shit that going on right now today.
100%.
You know what I mean? I'm just wondering where the song, like where after you created that one song, Jet Kicking It is my daughter's favorite song, by the way.
To this day.
To this day. I'm talking about Eris.
The youngest.
Eris.
Wow.
She would get the phone and put that on. She loved Just Kicking It.
That's crazy.
She loved, I mean, to this day, like, and it ain't like, you know, it's her mama, you know what I mean? But her mama got other songs that, you know, she could play too.
Yeah.
She don't play none of my songs, by the way. She only, all she plays is Jet Kicking It. You know what I'm saying? She don't play none of her daddy's songs at all, period. But that's cool, because I don't want her listening to my shit anyway. So, how did you find out, okay, this is Tasha's group, but the other girls are stars and got voices, and we don't want to make it a one person in the front thing. We want everybody to be the leader.
Well, I knew that going in. You know what I mean? I heard them saying, and I think the first song that we recorded was a Clark Sister song, In Vain. Is My Living in Vain. That's the first
and you
song.
put the 808 to it.
Yeah, I put the loop to it. I put a loop under it. Okay, I was still on these loops.
So that wasn't you on the drum beat?
Nah, that was a break beat, and I put the 808 on the break beat.
Gotcha.
But that's the first song that we actually recorded. So I knew everybody could sing. You know, that was a thing I already knew. But I also was against them trying to be in vogue. So I was like, we gotta make like you said, we gotta make something. It's something about this gotta be different.
Right.
It's gotta have a different edge on it than just four girls singing. I seen that, you seen that, this person sing. We see that all the time. So once I got to Just Kicking It, and I felt like we had that song, then I felt like it was cool to open up the fact that this is a real singing group.
Right.
Let these girls sing. And that's where Understanding came.
Okay.
And it was like, everybody show off. Right. Everybody gonna show off.
Right.
And once Understanding came, it was at that point I started looking for other people to work on the record, because I also was trying to, you know, be a record company. Like, let me get everybody else in. So I went to Organized Noise and talked to them about doing a song. They came back with Tonight. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Right. Everybody singing. Y'all came in, they did the Tonight record, and it just started moving the way it was moving. You know what I mean? Just Kicking It, if Just Kicking It didn't have the success that it did, then the second record that they came out with on the second album, probably Candy wouldn't have sung the lead. Like I said, all I do is pay attention to what's happening. Right. If people like her singing that lead, I'm like, okay. But just to rewind, when to go back in my room, because I'm out of my room now, I'm in my house and at the bottom.
That's right. That's right. We coming up.
To go back to my room, when Lisa was at my house, we met another girl that we skipped over in that story. And that other girl that was introduced to us was T-Boz. Right? So I start cutting songs.
Man, JD had all the girls at his house, man. What the fuck?
I start cutting songs on TL. I start cutting songs on TL in my house.
And that was before LA and Babyface came to the city.
Way before.
Okay.
I was cutting these songs on TL in my house.
That's what they were called?
No, they was called Second Nature. Yeah. They was called Second Nature.
Okay.
And I was writing the songs, right?
Okay.
So I'm thinking I could write R&B songs. I ain't never wrote no R&B song. I'm believing I could write it. And
I want to write a fantastic R&B record for you ladies.
Yeah, and they was like, okay, let's do it. So I started writing these songs, and I wrote a song for TL, and it was called I Got It Going On, right? And the way I was singing the demo, I was like, I want you to sing it like this. And she was like, I don't.
You can't sing, JD.
Yeah, you can't sing, and that's low. Don't nobody want to hear me sing like that. They want to hear me sing. I'm like, nah, you got to be cool. Like, you got to sing down here where I'm at. You hear where I'm at? You got to sing where I'm at. So Tion started mimicking my demo. And that's how she got that sound, the T-Boz sound that people know of today.
God damn, JD. This motherfucker is the Atlanta Wizard.
So in the midst of that,
man,
that's the sound that I was trying to.
What a spell book, man. The potions and shit, man. These motherfuckers are goddamn wizard gypsyologist.
The spell book. I'm just saying this. I'm just trying shit, and they, like I said, I'm trying. I don't know if it's gonna work.
Anybody who willing to cut one of their eyebrows off really want this shit.
Yeah, I want it.
I ain't never wanted it that bad.
I want it bad.
I ain't never wanted it that bad. When I'm gonna cut one of my eyebrows.
Yeah, I wanted it bad. It's gonna grow back.
Shit.
It's just like hair. When I have female.
See, you know why you had that freedom? Cause you didn't go to school.
What that mean?
You didn't go to school. You were not going to school with no one motherfucking eyebrow.
I definitely would have did that.
I don't believe it. I ain't got you doing it.
Because I like you talking about me, whether it's good or bad. I always did. I always liked that. I liked you talking about me. When I went to Brooklyn and stayed with Chad.
Let me tell you something. That Diana Ross that stage appearance on that Diana Ross show really put a number on you. That motherfucker really put a number on you. The way that light hit your head, man.
Hit me in
you ain't been the same ever since, man.
I ain't been the same. So back to the story. What I did was I was making these records with Tion, and she was singing low. So that's all I knew when it came to R&B, as far as me writing it.
So had them sing low.
Sing low.
Okay.
So when I wrote Just Kicking It, it was in a low register, and nobody in the group they weren't singing down there. Only person had that tone was Candy.
Okay.
I think I tried to get Tasha to sing Just Kicking It, and it didn't work the way I wanted it. So then I had Candy do it. And from that point on, that was the lead. And everybody like, you like Candy and you was dating Candy. None of that had nothing to do with it. We wasn't even nowhere in that area. Yeah. In that, it was just the fact that I was writing songs.
It's hard to believe that you was around all these girls and you ain't got no romantic involved with none of them.
My mind was get to this money.
Yeah, man, but still though, in the midst of getting to the money, you know what I'm saying? In between the M-O and the N-E-Y, you know what I'm saying?
For me, I'm a big movie. I won't even say boof or whatever.
Buff,
right?
Yeah.
I won't even say buff. I pay so much close attention to movies that I start trying to live like what I see happens in these movies, right?
I mean, that's what everybody do. But that's why so many motherfuckers dying.
But one of the things I noticed in most movies is that it's always a female that fuck up the money. And I this played in my mind so many times, and I just was like, that's not about to happen.
Right.
We not about to let that happen. That's not getting ready to go on. So,
but what lets you know that romantic involvement would allow that would make that happen? You know what I mean? What gave you the wherewithal at 15, 16? What gave you to know sex fucks up opportunity?
Because I did have a relationship with the leather in Silk Times leather.
Ah, see, we've skipped over that too. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Come on, man. Give us the shit. Give us the info, man.
We did have a little thing.
Okay.
But
wasn't that Houdini's girl? Well, wait a minute.
Later on down the road, it wasn't now.
Okay, so after they broke up.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, well, later on down the road, it wasn't.
Okay.
And me and her had our little thing, and it created a lot of weirdness in the studio.
You understood that.
You know what I mean? It created a lot of weirdness. A couple of times she was mad at me. A couple of times I was mad at her, and we was trying to record, and it didn't translate right. And I was like, oh, this ain't where I'm supposed to be at.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I quickly learned that I can't have that.
Right.
That if I'm trying to get this done, let's get this done. Then we can go back and talk if you want to talk after that. But we trying to get this record done. I'm trying to focus on, like, Escape record, Humming Coming At You. I made that album in 2 weeks.
What?
You know what I mean? And for an R&B record, that's
fast as hell.
That's light speed.
Yeah. Now how much outside input did you have on Humming Coming At You? I know you mentioned Organized Noise that you work with them, but who else outside of Organized Noise for Tonight and JD contributed to Humming Coming At You?
Nobody, just me and Emmanuel Seal. Yeah.
Okay. So now you drop this. It is a success as well.
Yeah.
So now you have 2 successful Crisscross albums and a successful album from Escape.
Well, just one Crisscross album. They hadn't come out with the second album yet. So
okay, Totally Crossed That came out.
Yeah.
It sold 8 million. Now you got Escape come out. They sell about 2-3 million.
Yeah, something like that.
And okay, so now you are an official mogul.
Still getting treated like not though. Still being treated like you from Atlanta. You lucked up.
You lucked up again.
You lucked up.
You lucky.
And you knew you lucked up because that's why you didn't put another rap group out.
That's what they said.
That's what they said. You knew you lucked up. That's why you went and did some R&B shit. That's why because you knew you couldn't do it again.
So the concept of diversity totally escaped these people.
Yeah, that wasn't in nobody's mind, because if you wrote Jump, you couldn't have possibly wrote Just Kicking It. That's not who does that?
Yeah.
Right? At that time, that's what people were saying to me. So I kept hearing you chose to go left on the rap shit because you knew you couldn't do it again. So I was trying to find a rapper at that time.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I gotta find me another rapper.
Okay.
I ain't know where I was gonna find a rapper. I ain't know where to look. I ain't know nothing.
But you had about 12 million albums sold under your belt.
Yeah, we selling records. They selling. We doing shows. Crisscross on tour with Michael Jackson.
Damn.
Right? But I ain't had no other rapper. Chris and Chris on tour. They in tour in Chicago. Chris Smith called me like, yo, man, this girl just came on stage. She killed it. I'm like, you know how I feel about female rappers? He's like, no. I said, I don't like them. And I said,
why you don't like female rappers? That's another thing we got to get into. I forgot all about that shit.
I said,
we're going to talk about that too, JD.
I said, female rappers. I said, the world ain't really fucking with female rappers.
I'm surprised you said you had that mindset when, for one, you had a whole left eye living in your closet. And 2, you're usually able to see, I guess, the applications of the future. You know what I'm saying? But you had that idea, and to be honest with you, I ain't gonna say I felt like that, but I just didn't feel like I could relate to a female rapper as much as, you know.
And that's where I was, right? And you got to remember, like,
I respected the talents of people like MC Light. I listened to their songs, and I respected Queen Latifah. You know what I'm saying? I did listen to all this shit, but I just, you know, it didn't move me the same way a male rapper would.
And that's where I was. So at that point, now I got a little bit of money. I done bought my first
Got
band.
a lot of money, JD. Got a lot of money, JD.
At that age,
you were the richest motherfucker in Atlanta at that time, JD.
So I got a couple of cars, and that's all I'm doing. I'm spending time in my cars, and I'm listening to music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spending time in my cars. I done put some beat in the trunk. I'm riding. I'm listening to every record that come out. So I'm really a fan of music to the point where I'm like, you know what? A female rap, they can rap, but dang what the fellas want to listen to when they ride in their car.
Right.
And I'm talking about what you just said. I'm knowing the fan, right? Meanwhile, prior to that, Left Eye called me, and she said, this was before. This I think this was right in between that, somewhere in there. I might be before Escape came out, or right between that. Left Eye called me, and she said, JD, we having this meeting with Pebbles. Should I take the meeting? And I could have told her don't go. I could have told her like, nah, this me. But I ain't had no label at the time. So this was before Crisscross. I ain't had no outlet. I mean, not before Crisscross, this was before Escape. I ain't had an outlet to tell her no. Mm-hmm. So I felt like...
You couldn't replace that opportunity with another opportunity.
Yeah, I couldn't replace the opportunity.
But that's so un-JD-ish. You supposed to say, you know what? No,
but listen.
Come sign to my new label.
No, but listen what I did. I said, go have a meeting, because if y'all get signed, I'm going to do the songs. So I was thinking as a producer as opposed to being the CEO of a record company. Okay. And I was just thinking about how they might have got a deal bigger than what I had. Mm-hmm. So if they did that, I started being producer on these bigger records.
Right.
That's what I was thinking about. So I encouraged her to have this meeting with Pebbles. They went, and I said, basically, I'm caught up between Crisscross. I can't really work both of y'all. I ain't got the means to do both. I'm trying to get this together, but that was in between that Escape thing, and that could have changed history too. You know what I'm saying? That was a move that.
Would that have been TLC on your label or just TL?
It would have been TLC. It wouldn't have been Chili. Unless they would have found her. The C at that time was this girl named Crystal, who was the girlfriend to the DJ of Arrested Development headliner.
Okay.
Right? And Arrested Development was another group that Ian had.
Okay.
So that's how that connection came with the Ian situation. So that's how she got in the group, Crystal.
Okay.
And that's what made TLC. So TLC at that time actually was just the names of the girls.
T-Bars, Left Eye, and Crystal.
Yeah.
Got you.
Once they had that, and they met with Pebbles, Pebbles got rid of Crystal.
Why Pebbles didn't like Crystal?
I don't know what happened in that meeting, but Pebbles got rid of Crystal. And Pebbles added a girl she already knew.
Which was Chili.
To the group, right?
And then Pebbles took him to, of course, to LA.
Yeah, she did what she did and took him there. And I was completely excited for them because I felt like they was gonna keep me in the mix.
Right. Did you ever do? You produced TLC records? Which one?
Yeah, I produced. I did the Hat to the Back remixed, which actually that's the version that came out. I did one of their songs on that first album. I forget what it's called. But
was it a single?
No, it wasn't a single. But the second album was more Jermaine than like the intro with Rest in Peace with Phife Dawg. I did the intro of the album, The Crazy Sexy Cool. I did a couple of songs on the second album. I mean, but they kept me in the mix because they, you know, like I said, they out of all the artists, I won't say out of all the artists, but they're the ones that actually really, really kind of remembered and never really ever acted like that shit came from somewhere else. Right. They really was like this how it started. You know what I'm saying? And so the TLC thing started going. So then I'm like, I'm cool. I'm like, I'm working on TLC. I got Crisscross. I got Escape. But I kept trying to find another rapper. And like I said.
And Chris called you to Chicago.
Yeah, Chris called me.
You reluctantly go.
No, he didn't tell me to come. He just was like, we found this girl. You should check out. And I'm like, I'm cool. I don't want no female rapper. And he was like, JD, I'm telling you, she different. So I just, I said, all right, well, sent her to Atlanta.
Mm.
So Brat come to Atlanta. We had this meeting. I pick her up from the Renaissance. I think that's right here, the Radisson or whatever that is downtown, the Renaissance downtown. Pick her up, and
Did she already have a look?
Yeah, she had a look. She wanted to be crisscross. By the way, she was a fan of crisscross.
Gotcha.
So she looked like crisscross.
Okay, gotcha.
She wore her pants. She went backwards, but she wore her outfits as big as we was wearing our clothes. Everything, she was basically the dress code of crisscross. But her attitude is really what sold me. Cause I got in the car, and I think I went and got gas or something like that, and I was pumping the gas, and then in the midst of me pumping the gas, she put her tape in the car while I wasn't in the car. So then when I got back in the car, I went to turn my music on, and her thing came on. And I'm like, shit, don't nobody be touching my sound. just don't, like, who do this? Like, who changed this? So then she like, that's me. So I'm checking it out, and it's real aggressive. It's probably the most aggressive I ever heard. Like
from a female.
From a female besides like Anquinette or Latifah was aggressive, but the way Brat sounded was just the most.
Then you remember Boss, don't you?
Yeah, the Boss. But this was prior. This was pre-Boss.
Before the Boss?
Yeah, this was pre-Boss.
Gotcha.
This was, like I said, this was pre-Boss. So at this time, the females only female I knew.
Hey, Yo-Yo was real. You know what I'm saying?
This was pre-Yo-Yo.
I don't think this was
No, not pre-Yo-Yo. You're right. But Yo-Yo was more like
hip hop.
Like, yeah, I don't want to say hip hop. It was more like gangster type. Brat, the way Brat rapped when I heard her was more like, just like really like going at.
For those of you who don't see what he's doing, he's acting like
all the way in the mic.
He acting like he pointing at somebody's nose.
Yeah, all the way in.
In an argument.
Yeah, she was right there. So then her attitude, right? Her attitude about it.
Well, she from Chicago, bro.
I mean, I didn't know nothing about that. I'm just a kid from College Park. I ain't never been. I ain't been nowhere but around here. But I mean, going on tour, like you said, I was exposed, but I still wasn't. I ain't know the parts of Chicago. I ain't know what was actually happening, and that energy. She brought that energy, and out of all the projects that I ever did, Brat's project took me the longest.
What? Because
I was never sold on the product that I was creating, and I was always scared that it wasn't gonna work.
What do you mean? You wasn't sold on Funkdafied? That shit was jamming.
That wasn't the first song.
Okay, well,
no,
okay.
that was the song I finally found. I had so many songs. I remember I was gonna put Brat out the week that I dropped All Right on Crisscross. So cause we filmed the All Right video. We went back to Greenbrier, and we was driving around the city with the low rider, and we did a video of my house. And my plan was to drop Brat record prior to that song.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't come together either. So then I was just like, man, shit, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do with this girl. I done brought her to Atlanta. The least I could do is put on a Crisscross song.
Mm-hmm.
So I put on the Crisscross song and put on the Bomb. And the reaction to her verse on the Bomb is what really jolted me the energy to get to where I got to with Funkdafied. Because I realized, okay, people fucking with this.
Right.
I was scared of that part. And people was like, who is that girl on that song? What's up with her? What's going on? So then I felt forced to find this record. And that's the only thing that helped me. If I'd have came out prior to that, it probably wouldn't have been right.
Damn. But now that you dropped it and it went double platinum.
Yeah.
It was a success. So now they still thinking you lucky at this point?
I mean, you still hearing it. I mean, you still hearing it.
Just because it wasn't what they were used to.
Yeah, it wasn't what they used to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Niggas lie, bitches too, numbers don't.
100%. Yeah.
Now, we had a conversation about female rappers, and that reminded me of the statement that you made about female rappers, saying that all of them is rapping about, fucking and selling pussy and setting up niggas and shit.
For some kind of way, some kind of way, all of them got in there. I didn't say all of them. They only asked me about 3 different rappers.
They asked you about 3 different rappers.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that you have time, I would like for you to collect, because you got a lot of backlash.
Oh,
from
100%.
You got a lot of but you did not waver.
Yeah, nah.
Even though you didn't consider a lot of the other waves of, women artists, like the Rhapsodies, the Tierra Wax, and, artist upon artist. What was going through your head when you saw how people were responding to what you said? And then you can tell us what you really meant to say.
Once I saw what was happening with the response, I realized, oh, you Jermaine Dupri. They expect you to say something different.
Yeah.
Jermaine Dupri don't think like that.
Right.
Jermaine Dupri think the same way Jermaine Dupri been thinking since day one. But now I'm Jermaine Dupri to the world, and people expected me to expose them to other sources.
Right. Instead of criticizing.
Right. And that's what I learned. And, I needed that because I didn't. I'm in my hole. I'm in the studio every day. I'm just being me.
Right.
You ask me a question about music, I'm gonna give you
honest.
I'm gonna give you my honest opinion, right? But at the same time, people expect me to have a vision of a better way or wherever you want to go, and that's what I'm saying. I wasn't really in that mindset when they asked me, especially not from the people that asked me. Mm-hmm. I was on people.com, peoplemagazine.com. Yeah. That's what I'm definitely not thinking I'm talking to them about the realness of hip hop.
Right.
You know what I mean? Me and you had that conversation, is a different story. And not to knock them girls, but that's not where they from. That show is not about hip hop. So I thought they was just like, JD, you ain't out here cheering for the girls. What's wrong with you? And I'm just like, I'm still in the space that I always been with female rap. I understand how difficult it is. Mm-hmm. That's all I really was saying. It's like, I don't think you girls realize how difficult this shit is to actually sell records.
Right.
It's one thing to have your song playing in the club. Mm-hmm. To sell 1 million, 2 million records, mm-hmm. that shit ain't easy for no females. Right? And you got to dig a little bit deeper mm-hmm. to get to that space. And that's all I was trying to say.
I mean, well, you said it a little different. That's a little different.
Hey, like I said, I felt I'm
But that's what you was. That where your heart was.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't really trying to diss them because I like all them songs. I'm a DJ. I play all the records. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because like after I said that, I play Megan's record in the club and I'm trying to see how people reacting to me playing the song because I felt like people really thought I really hated the songs. I don't hate none of that music. Mm-hmm. But when you ask me who's the best lyrical,
right? And you like that ain't really.
That's like having that conversation with you, like
about what?
Being lyrical. If somebody asks you about being lyrical, you're not getting ready to say. You know what I'm saying?
Don't get yourself in no more trouble.
No. I'm just saying. I'm talking about you. I'm not even talking about. I'm not even talking about females.
I got in trouble a long time, man. A lot of times just because my standards for music and what I wanted was so high. That how I told the story before. That how me and Shawty Low got into it because he wanted me to get on this song and I ain't like it. You know what I mean? There was like D4L day. You know what I mean? And I didn't like the song. Mm. And like man, I'm from Bankhead. You ain't gonna do the song? And I think that was the energy. But they just didn't understand, man, that my standard for me actually rapping on some shit is just higher, and I can't make myself feel this. And so that's how we got into it. That was the beginning of it. But I later began to understand as the evolution of this thing of ours in music. It showed me that it started with lyrics. Now the shit is more like a feeling. It's like an energy. It's a vibe. Now you know what I'm saying? Now if I can translate this same energy that I have in the hood that gets me, from where I am in the hood and I can navigate through my projects and whatever. I got this same energy and I put this shit on music, whether it's lyrical or not. You supposed to respect this energy.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that at the time.
Yeah.
So I think that what they looking to, that what they were looking.
Yeah, and I mean,
for
like,
from
and I do. That's what I'm saying. As like I said, as a respect of the energy. But it's certain people out here that when you use the word lyrical.
That's real.
I remember like the first. Not the first time, because I mean, me and you, we seen each other throughout your whole career.
Right.
But I remember the first time that you actually hit the vein of other people, right? And this was when you and Pharrell first started working together.
Okay.
And Pharrell called me and he said, yo, this boy T.I. is the Jay-Z of Atlanta. And only thing that I thought about when he said that was lyrics.
Right.
We talking about being lyrical.
That's right.
Right? And the only reason he would say that is because that's not what was happening from here. Right? That's not what was coming from here. So when you ask me that question, unfortunately, I'm a hip-hop. That's just me. I'm a hip-hop book. If you talk about DJing, and you tell me about somebody that push a button compared to somebody that scratch, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion.
Right.
And that's all it was.
That's button pushing.
Yeah, that's button push. So, but in this day and time, if you say something about,
do that.
You can't say nothing about the button pushers. And I'm like I said, I'm sorry I said it the way I said it, but since I've said it, I've seen so many other people saying this. Like, yo.
I think it's another genre.
Yeah.
You know
I mean, and I tried to give them that vision. They ain't
genre.
like that. By the way, I'm gonna stick to that. The strap rap should be
strap music.
Strap music should be something. When you made trap music, I'm sure people didn't think that was like.
Man, I wasn't trying to make a genre. I was making an album.
Okay, but I'm saying you
did
it, but it was your idea. It was a vision.
It was.
That's all I'm saying right now.
I just knew that because all we had in Atlanta on a mainstream nationwide platform to represent the city was Outkast and Goody Mob for real. I mean, Criss Cross, they was still looked at as kids for real.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, it's a whole nother life. Like all the this power to the people shit, man, is good and it sound good and I love it and it's a play for it. But there's other people out here in Atlanta that motherfuckers in New York need to know. That shit is just as gutter out here as it is up there.
Yeah.
That we got them doing the same kind of shit that they had going on in New Jack City. That shit going on down here.
Yeah.
And I've lived this life. I spent my childhood, I spent my teenage years living this life. So it was so familiar to me. And after I dropped I'm Serious and it didn't get the attention it deserved because motherfuckers felt like because I was so lyrical, they didn't know where I was from. And they're like, where's this nigga from for real? This nigga got Beanie Man on his album and that ain't Atlanta, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay, they don't know where I'm from. I guess what I'm gonna do. Yeah. You know, the most successful song, the song that got the most attention off of I'm Serious was Dope Boys and Trap Niggas. So okay, then what you like? I'm gonna give you a whole motherfucking album full of
100%.
Dope Boys and Trap Niggas and call it trap music.
Yeah.
So that was where the vision for that came from. And that was really just, me talking about my childhood, me, Cap, C-Rod, Doug, Mac Boney, Big Country, all the shit that we goddamn did from the time I was 14 to the time I got a record deal. It was really just, like a biography, if you would.
But that's what I'm saying. Once again, like if you've been listening to this interview and you ain't just came in, you got to understand I'm a visionary.
That's real.
Said by T.I.
That's real.
That and I go to the strip. I'm a strip club connoisseur. If I'm in the strip club just as much as he in the strip club.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now.
I'm probably in the strip club more than he in the strip club.
There you go.
But I understand that every time I'm sitting up there on the stage, I do see you beside me. But listen, it's an Atlanta thing.
Look, that's a very funny story. I don't want to cut your thought off, but I remember being in the strip club my first time, I believe, in Gentleman Club with some money. Now I've been to Gentleman Club, but there's a difference when you're in Gentleman Club and when you got some money.
Yeah.
So I had some money, and you was up there, and you were throwing money or whatever. I don't think we started, the whole Make It Rain thing hadn't came about yet. So you at the stage, they're kind of like handing dollars out. And I say, shit, I'm finna go up here and stand at the JD. Shit, I'm finna hand me some dollars out too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we was up there. You know, I don't even know if you really knew who I was at the time for real. So we got down, you know, standing next to each other at I think it was the downstairs stage.
Yeah.
And I think White Chocolate was on stage.
100%.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you standing up there, I'm standing up there, and then when I had ran out of money, and you kept going, and I thought to myself, I'm finna get some more money, and I stopped. I said, wait a minute, Tip, why is you up here with this rich ass man handing money out like you got him up money here? Go sit your ass down. Go sit your ass down, get you something that you like, and go have a nice quiet moment in the corner by yourself.
Yeah.
That you can manage that.
Hey.
You cannot goddamn last with this man standing up here passing out dollars. That was a very valuable lesson you taught me that day.
I didn't teach you that.
You did teach me that.
I taught you that.
I mean, indirectly you did.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to stop y'all, but that was a very funny story I just had to share.
Yeah, so I mean, with that being said, the strip club, and I want people to understand this, because that's what one part that hurt me about this whole thing with the female rap is that strip club lifestyle and strip club culture is in this city.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure anybody had more involvement with making that as popular as it is than me.
That's right.
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying I'm the most, but I'm saying I was very instrumental in taking
You invested a lot of your resources, your time, attention,
money,
and resources into
you know what I mean?
strip club culture.
With that being said, I see so many girls now that I know dance. Because by the way, we don't call them strippers out here. We call them dancers. So many girls that I know dance that's rapping.
Right.
And I'm like,
one of the biggest being Cardi B.
Huh?
I said one of the biggest being Cardi B.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cardi B.
But even before that, you had Trina.
Even before that, Trina. I mean, you know, Amber Rose. I remember going to Sue's Rendezvous and seeing Amber Rose. Now, she's not no rapper, but she still has become somebody outside of what's happening. And
Black China.
And I feel like,
Black China.
Yeah. I feel like they should create a space for it.
I think you got a point there. And what I think what you're trying to say is, when you mentioned it and you said it should be a whole genre, and you mentioned it because, you know, they took it as a diss when you didn't mean it as a diss, because they thought it was something so little and low on the totem pole, when you like, no, this shit is really important.
Yeah.
This shit is prominent.
100%.
And y'all should recognize the prominence of it and goddamn and put a theme on it and own it, control it, and make the shit yours the way Tip did with trap music.
100%. That's what I basically was
That's what you were saying.
That's what I was trying to say once people didn't understand. That's what I was trying to say. And I feel like still to this day, like I said, I've protected so many dancers from girls outside of Atlanta saying, why they so disrespectful of themselves? How could she just do that? And I'm like, listen, first of all, these girls, this a job.
Hey, guess what? You know how you can shut that down? Her body, her choice. Now you can't use that to your advantage when it suits you and then go against it when you disagree with something somebody else doing. Her body, her choice.
Yeah.
You shut that shit down right there. You can move on to something else. They got nothing else to say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I mean, that's what it was. And for those that's listening that still had an opinion of what I'm saying, I'm really for all of that. I just felt like, first of all, it's a separate thing to me. I feel like dance music, just like when I did the Social Death Bass All Stars,
right? And
people was like, "That's not hip hop." Okay, cool.
Right.
Y'all can tell me this ain't hip hop, but I can't tell y'all this ain't lyrical, right? And that's that. But then people have to understand that's where I've been. I done been like, even right now, when you say Crisscross. You say Crisscross was a kid group, right? And that's what it is. It was a kid group, right?
That's how you got on tour with Michael Jackson.
And that's how most people look at it, as opposed to just saying, I could have been mad at the world because everybody kept saying it was a kid group, and just been like, no, just rap.
But no, it was a kid group.
It is.
It had two kids.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. The songs that that I was asked about,
right?
If we print the lyrics out.
I don't want to read the lyrics. Listening to that shit, reading that shit out loud without music behind
What's
it.
that show where I seen you reading the lyrics?
Man, Bar Exam, I think. Man,
if we print
shit.
the lyrics out,
yeah,
everybody see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I did that. I mean, you know, I think strip music sound better than strap music.
I mean, well, I say strap just because it just sound like
trap.
Okay. and it's all. That's what
so
it is.
So stripper music meets trap music is
totally
strap music.
What it is.
Gotcha.
Totally what it is.
I think, man, you know what, man? You might...
Somebody
why
gonna...
don't you get...
Don't you got a female rapper? What's that?
Yeah, Tokyo Jets.
Yeah.
Tokyo Jets. Yeah.
And she cold.
She dope as a motherfucker.
Yeah. I'm just saying, somebody gonna take this and it's gonna go, and I'm not even gonna trip on it.
Nah, man, why don't you get one? That you got to do it.
But
don't
then everybody,
give them the vision.
I felt I was gonna do that, but
nah,
then
what
I
you
felt
gotta
like
do.
motherfuckers was gonna be like, you just trying to make up for the dumb shit you said.
Fuck what people say, JD. Fuck that.
All right.
Get to the money.
You're right.
You know what I mean? In between the MO and the NEY, you got this.
Yeah, all right.
Now there's a few more things I'm gonna get into. I know man, you got so much shit that we can talk about, bro. You are, let me see. You the only motherfucker that I know within our culture that has dated Janet Jackson. So okay, wait a minute, because you had Left Eye TLC staying at your house, nothing there. You had, you had a run-in with one of the ladies from Silk Time Leather, and you didn't, you learned from that. But throughout your career, you hadn't necessarily been the man who is always seen with the girl.
Yeah.
You hadn't, okay. So, JD ends up with Janet fucking Jackson.
That's how you gotta say it?
No, I'm saying, no, look, not because it's you, JD, but it's Janet Jackson. You dig what I'm saying? I would have said the same thing about me. Yeah. So Tip ends up with Janet fucking, that's how they used to say when I was nobody, and Tamika used to come to the bounce to my shows. They're like, man, that nigga Tip brought Tiny from Escape. Tip, but it's Tiny from Escape at the bounce.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing I felt when you had Janet Jackson in Magic City. I'm like, how in the fuck this nigga get Janet Jackson in Magic City? What in your life changed in between, okay, because you worked with a lot of beautiful women before, but what made you say for Janet, this is the exception?
I didn't.
You didn't? Okay, well, how did you guys meet?
We met at a Crisscross concert, and we met at her concert at the Omni. Crisscross came. We came. This is how we first met, and
that shit go that far back to the Omni?
Yeah, as far as just meeting and friends.
Okay,
so we
gotcha.
we met. Crisscross went to a show, and this when Jermaine Dupri was just a producer.
Right.
I wasn't nobody there. I ain't had no record out yet or nothing. Nobody knew me besides what I did for Chris and Escape and whatever. So we go to her show, and I'm part of their entourage. And they not part of. I'm part of the Crisscross entourage.
Right.
So Crisscross going in to meet Janet Jackson, and the bodyguard
stop you.
Hit me the bodyguard hit me with the hand. And so I'm not being able to go in. So they like, shit, that's our man. We don't move. You know what I'm saying? So they telling her, and when they tell her, she had to vouch for me. Let him in. Let him in. He cool. When I came in, it was almost like the Diana Ross concert. She started talking to me like, oh, so you must be the special one. You know what I mean? You must be,
damn.
They ain't want to leave you outside. Why they want to leave you outside? Like, just, whatever, shooting the shit. But that it seemed like an energy. Right? And at that point, I was just like, I'm gonna see you again. You know what? We gonna talk about this again.
Damn.
I'm gonna let you. It's Chris.
You mean tell me you didn't invite her back to the house at the let us see the closet with the booth?
No. Yeah, I was just like, I'm gonna see you again. This Chris and Chris time. I'm gonna let y'all do what y'all doing. I just was standing back, making sure they cool.
Yeah.
That's my role.
Right.
And from there, it became a situation where something that I was doing always kind of bled into her life, right? So I had a stylist that was basically my stylist all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she was Janet's stylist.
Okay.
So I used to be joking around, like, I'm joking. Janet Jackson, tell Janet, I say, I'm saying, like, just whatever.
You was serious.
Yeah.
You meant
and
that
one
shit.
day, she did the shit. JD over here talking like, she was a white girl named Julie. Shout out to Julie. And she telling her, she cool, she talking to her. And then Jan was saying shit back. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Now, listen. I'm not that dude.
We're not finna play with me now.
Yeah, you start talking back to me,
Right.
it's going to be a different type of game. So we just start, doing that, shooting the shit, blah, blah, blah. And then one other time, somebody was like, yo, JD, we going to the club. And I'm like, who was we? It was like, me, Janet, da-da-da-da-da. You should come. I went to the club. I think me and Brat was together. And we basically just started getting, like, being more comfortable and cool with me being around. And she realized that from that one time that she met me with Chris and Chris, that I was a little bit more important than just the person that was supposed to be outside the door. Because I knew multiple other people, her friends, and she seen me doing other projects.
You had become exponentially more richer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, y'all hear that? That's it.
I mean?
I'm gonna use that too on y'all.
And more successful too.
Yeah. So it was just a thing, and like so we became friends, and I guess you want to call it. I took my shot, right?
Shot your shot.
And my shot was she didn't have a two-way.
Oh, two-way pages.
She didn't have a two-way.
Okay.
And they was sending me two ways like I was the owner.
You just got it.
JD, here you go. Here go a new silver one.
Damn.
We got you. You want to do it? So I found out she ain't had one, and they was sending them to me. So I was like, shit, you know what? I want y'all to send one to Janet from me. So I got the address from my stylist, and I sent her the two-way. And I'm thinking, like I said,
you the only one had that number too. You the only one don't get it. I got to be the only one with this number.
I'm thinking like, yeah, so I'm gonna get the number. You gonna hit me back because I know what it is, right? That's how I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I'm like, she gotta hit me back at this point because I'm sending her two-way.
I mean, come on. Why could you? She got to at least say thank you.
She at least say thank you.
Yeah.
So she hit me back.
And
she hit me back. It was like at that point, like, let's hang out, let's kick it. And we just started really just hanging out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then I threw a party for her in Miami for her birthday.
Dope.
Where I actually threw the party. We was kicking it, but we weren't really a couple yet.
Right.
And I feel like I made it comfortable for her to be a part of the whole world.
Right.
As opposed to people shunning her because she was
living in the bubble of the Jacksons.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like that's what it was. So, I took her to Magic City.
Yeah. I was there.
See, I told you he was there. What I told you, he was right there. I told you, he was right there. But I exposed her to a lot of life that I didn't even know I could expose a person to. Because you think when somebody's that famous, that rich, they know everything.
Yeah.
They've seen everything. But it was a lot of world that we was living in here and stuff that we was going on.
Culture.
Culture-wise that they hadn't gotten in LA. So that's where we basically started hitting it off. We was showing each other multiple things. You know what I mean? I go to Miami and she'd be staying in a different spot that I ain't never stayed in. I'm like, damn, I ain't even know nothing about this spot. Okay,
right.
I'm gonna come back, check. You know what I mean? So it's just like it just started going from there, and it was just like two cool people just like exchanging energy.
So how did you not get married, JD? And I mean throughout your entire career.
Yeah.
And especially to Janet Jackson.
Yeah. Man, I'm sure it's just because I start seeing so many other things that I wanted to do. And so many other places that I felt like I wanted to go. I felt like I started realizing that I started thinking like marriage for me wasn't gonna work. Just something about it. I mean, I can't. It's just like when you feel like you're ready to get married, you don't really have no answers. You just know when it is.
Yeah.
I was in the space. I'm not even gonna say. I'm not gonna front and say I wasn't. I felt married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I felt married, but I
knew you do. I mean, like I could see the difference in you while you was with her.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've had other girlfriends throughout the time we've known each other, but you was different.
Yeah.
You were different when you were, like, that was a real relationship. 100%. That seemed like your first real relationship.
But I think the only thing that was separate from it that created a difference for me was the fact that we didn't live together. We had an 8-year, 9-year relationship, but we didn't live with each other. Right? And I still felt like that part of it was something we hadn't experienced.
Right.
And I feel like that's a part that people have to really get used. That's where you really determine if you're strong.
Yeah.
Right? She wasn't willing to move to Atlanta. She was willing to come out here for a couple of weeks.
Right.
But living in Atlanta for her just didn't really seem like L.A. You know what I mean? And me, I wasn't ready to move to Malibu because Malibu ain't Old National. I like it. Right. I fuck with it. But it ain't, you know what I mean? It's just something about being here. So we had that difference. We had that difference. And, you know, it's crazy because as time went on, I started doing the TV shows, and I found myself being in L.A. more than I ever was in L.A. But at the time, none of that stuff was there. So it was like, it felt like that stuff didn't feel like it was like the space that either one of us wanted to be.
Man. And I mean, so you start off on stage with Diana Ross. You end up with Lisa Left Eye Lopez living at your house in your closet. You find the skate and Silk Times leather, and then you make it all the way to Janet Jackson. Man, you have a very whimsical story, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you've experienced a lot of just personal height in life. You know what I'm saying? You've made it to some high places. And I think, man, it's all because of what you expect from yourself. You dig what I'm saying? I think that's what shape and mold everybody's outcome in life, what they expect of themselves. So shit, bro. The only question I got is, after you've been with Janet and you break up with Janet, where the fuck you go from there? What the fuck else is there to do?
Oh my God. Oh man. I'm back to the mindset that I was in the beginning, man. I'm not even really thinking about it. I feel like I got a lot of guarding and protecting that I got to do. And that is going to take a lot more concentration than what's needed when you have that situation going on.
Yeah. So, but now another thing you did that was incredible is you took a kid who was young, but he sounded and acted kind of grown, and you kind of made something there with Usher. Like, cause I remember when Usher, when he had his first album with Puff, and this one Puff was on fire. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of Craig Mack, Biggie, Total, and all that shit, he had Usher, and on paper that shit looked like it's a no-brainer.
100%.
Usher's incredibly talented, sing, dance. Puffy is the greatest motherfucking showman in the industry. That shit didn't come together the way everybody thought it would have. And then they introduced Usher to you. And you make that shit into what we now know as Usher today.
Yeah.
How the fuck did you do that, JD?
Interestingly, I met Usher way before that. He came to Criss Cross concert, and I actually told him.
God damn, everybody was at the Criss Cross concert. Them motherfuckers were lit.
He came to the Criss Cross concert, and I actually told AJ, who brought him to me that I wasn't really trying to deal with no more kid artists at the time. So I actually avoided working with him when he came to me with Crisscross. And when he got with LaFace, my vision got a little bit clearer because I was like, okay, shit, I ain't got to, if he signed, I ain't got to deal with the parents.
Right.
Because I was trying, you know, at the time I was dealing with Chris and Chris' parents, and it was just like, this enough for me. I ain't trying to take on another situation like that because I knew what was coming with it. So I was trying to just like, you know, keep my head clear. And when he came to me the second time, I didn't know anything about I knew Puff had did the record, but I wasn't even in the mindset of.
He ain't executive produced that entire album? Who? Or was there an entire album, or was it just that one song?
Who, Puff?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a whole album.
Yeah.
Him and Devontae, he, you know, and I think that like I say with anything, like when I did a rap game and I do these artists, these younger artists, I think that what people don't understand and what people don't look at is what is it that people expect from younger artists as opposed to what we want to do with younger artists. Right? And I think that's the thing that I automatically pay attention to, and I learned that from, like I said, with Crisscross, when they told me that this wasn't gonna work, I had to figure out what would work.
Right.
I think that this person's a star, but what you want to do with this person ain't gonna work.
Right.
What you need to do with this person is what you got to figure out, right? And that's what I had to do with Usher. I had to look at it and be like, okay, well, he had a cool record. He sound like Devontae. He sound like Jodeci. Okay, but it ain't connecting to what needs to be connected first in order for it to make it work, right? So I just started trying to figure out what that was and where, you know, if you notice in his first video, his first coming out, him dancing the way he started dancing in My Way was completely different. It was a two different spectrums, right? And it was based on, I think it was our conversation, because I'm thinking that Puff was more or less like, I'm gonna make you like a young version of Jodeci. My thing was, who you want to be like? He said, Bobby Brown.
I was just finna say that. I was finna say, man, that man got Bobby Brown wrote all over him.
That's what he said. That's what he told me. He's like, I want Bobby's spot. And I said, okay, well, that ain't ready to be easy. And that's how we came up with his Bobby Brown spot, My Way. You know what I mean?
Instead of my prerogative. God damn it, motherfucker. JD did it again. This motherfucker did it again. God damn.
But listen. So,
man, this nigga is the ultimate remixer. This nigga is the... Hey, man, you got a whip game out there. Where am I, boy?
But I didn't say this was his.
I
this
know
was him.
it, but once he said it, you say, you know what? I know just what to do.
I mean, it's right there in front of you.
Man, just like you took the pick it up, and turned it to jump. Just like you took motherfucking the bum stickity bum from DOS Effects, turned it to miggity Mac Daddy. Just like I'm saying, and now he say Bobby Brown to you. And the first thing you thought of was, well, Bobby Brown had a prerogative. What is a prerogative? Prerogative is his way of doing shit. I got, not my prerogative, nigga. Just short, fuck the big word. Nigga, my way, nigga. God damn,
I mean,
bro.
listen, it's
that
like
damn JD is
listen,
struck again.
By the way, I always tell people,
you'll be a hell of a villain in like a comic book. You know what I'm saying? I can see
what
a
I
motherfucker.
tell people is I don't feel, people keep saying, if people like, you're a genius. I'm like, I'm not genius. What I feel like
the shit is actually really brilliant.
What I do is just pay attention to what's right there in front of me.
But I think that's the shit that, you know, the most significant things in life hides in plain sight. You dig what I'm saying? I mean, fuck, bro. That shit that shit is brilliant, bro. He want Bobby spot. You say, okay, well, my way. That's it.
You gonna do it your way. That's it. You know what I mean?
It's your prerogative.
And you know,
to do it that way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but you know, like I said, and that's where the turning point was, because I don't feel like him and Puff had that conversation.
Right.
I think him and Puff conversation was,
Puff probably just told him what he needed to be doing.
yeah, we gonna make this more, you know, uptown New York. And his mentality for me was not that. He wanted to dance, and he wanted songs that was gonna penetrate him getting in that box with Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, you know.
Man, y'all have a illustrious track record. You motherfuckers did over and over and over and over and over again. Probably still the top selling male R&B album. Probably, I think, Confessions.
Of our generation.
Yeah. Not excluding Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But that's pop. That ain't R&B. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That shit did with like 12, 15 million or some shit.
Well, 10. I mean, I know we at Diamond. I don't know where we at now.
It was Diamond at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But and now with streaming, that shit probably in the 13, 14. Okay. I remember being in the studio while y'all were working on Confessions.
Mm.
I remember that. Do you remember the dog? You remember that dog? When a dog was purchased and motherfucker was telling somebody about purchasing a dog.
Oh yeah.
For a certain somebody
we was in the
else.
club in the studio.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like, buy no motherfucking dog.
Yeah.
For the streets, man.
Yeah. I remember that.
And being around in them sessions, hearing those conversations, and then hearing that album, you took those conversations and put them to music, basically.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of motherfuckers try to do that, like, try to keep they creations, they art organic. But when you have the responsibility, the obligation, and the expectation of making a hit, sometimes you're like, man, fuck them conversations. Let's just make the hit. And you don't never do that.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? How do you fight the urge to just, you know what I'm saying, say, man, let's just make the hit. Let's just get the hit record.
Reaction. I feel like, from the first reaction of, like the first song, You Make Me Wanna, from that song, nothing about all that song was about was me and another girl, and my homeboy, me introducing my homeboy to a girl that should have been my girl, but I was like, nah, y'all cool, and me being so cool with her before me and my homeboy that she talked to me about their relationship. And I would tell her shit that I probably shouldn't have been telling her.
Oh my goodness.
But I was telling her in good faith.
This nigga's a real life villain.
I would tell her in good faith.
I
would tell her in good faith so that they could stay together. You know what I mean? Not no hater shit, but shit that I feel like, so she'll know him better, and you know what I mean.
Does he know you were talking like telling her?
I don't think so, but I'm saying just to help their situation. Anyway,
You're a dastardly fellow, JD.
Long story short, I seen the drama in this story.
Okay.
And then
how did they end up, that couple, by the way?
They not together.
They not together. Okay, cool.
And then I had.
Did you double back and hit the girl, JD?
All
right, cool. Well, let's keep on going. Come on.
So New Year's Eve, Usher has this girlfriend, right? And Usher takes a girlfriend. We go to Atlanta Live for New Year's Eve. And we on the dance floor, and we dance, we having a great time. Then Usher goes to the bar or something, I think, to get a drink. And the girl stay on the dance floor, and she start dancing with somebody else. Usher comes back, sees the girl dance with somebody else, say, JD, let's go. And we leave the girl on the dance floor. I got my date, but he left his on the dance floor. We get in the car, and I'm like, what's up? Man, let's go leave that. I'm like, why? What's happening? Man, prior to us getting to Atlanta Live, he told me, man, my girl will never leave me. She loved me to death, blah, blah, blah. We having this con. I'm like, boy, listen, you young. Don't do that. Oh, nah, you don't know me, shot. She love me, da-da-da-da-da. So, fast forward, we get back. I'm like, remember that conversation you told me, you know? Nah, don't worry about it. I ain't fucking with her no more. It's all whatever. So then I'm like, oh, she make you want to leave, huh? And then I start just putting it together. Now I'm start putting together like, you probably like somebody else. So I took the energy that I felt from that night and I put it to my story with the girl and the guys, whatever. So it's like, you in a relationship, but you know somebody else that's giving you energy, and that person actually make you want to leave the one you with, start a new relationship. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just my writing.
Yeah, well, like I said, you know, this shit, as simple as it seems, this shit is very complex because a lot of motherfuckers can't goddamn find the things that are important and special enough about their life and write about it, so they kind of start choosing other folks' shit.
Well, I mean, so I'm sorry because I didn't really answer the question. So the answer to that question is me seeing people like the realness of my writing. Right? Like, Escape just kicking it, right? Every man wants a woman. When I wrote that, it's from a man's perspective. It's not a woman's perspective. It's from me. Yeah. I want a girl that you can kick it with. Right. I don't want no broad that's, you know what I'm saying? So she's singing it in that way, and I'm watching the reaction of people like, damn, she talking about how the dude feel. Yeah. So, but I'm just actually having her speak the way I feel, right? So I start realizing that people are really more intrigued by a feeling, and if you can continue to figure out how to give them that feeling in your lyrics, just writing a song don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, happy.
You gotta be an experience.
Yeah, they gotta, especially if you get somebody who can actually pull it off. Right. And you got somebody that can actually sing it and articulate what they need, what's being said in a way where you actually feel it. It's the best thing possible.
Right. And you know, of course, we can't not talk about Shard. our baby brother. Yeah. We can't not talk about baby bro. What the fuck you do to Bow Wow, man? That's what I want to know, man. What the fuck you do to Bow Wow, man?
What the fuck you do to Bow Wow?
He was just fine when he was with Snoop and them, you know, and now he come to Atlanta with JD, and you know, what happened, bro?
That's a Bow Wow. The misunderstanding of Bow Wow is that he is a hip hop animal. He was created by hip hop. And he was a animal created by hip hop, right? And what I mean by that is that every spectrum of his life, he's had a giant from hip hop guide him, direct him, or whatever you want to say, right? Which at that point digest all that energy. You know what I mean? He got a young T.I. attitude.
Listen.
I'm just saying. Listen, people. I know T.I. from a different time than y'all know T.I. before it was phones. T.I. had this show one night in Buckhead. I think we wasn't the Chili Pepper. It was one of the other little spots. And when I tell y'all, this man energy for rapping is amazing. But when that nigga get mad, man, it wasn't no controlling. Man. It was an uncontrollable energy.
Yeah, but that comes from a place though. See, that's what I'm saying. When you say Bow Wow has a young T.I.'s energy, the young T.I. energy, it came from a need to survive in very, very horrendous environments.
No, I'm not saying it's not as authentic as yours.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like his energy, he ain't got nothing to really be upset about.
But he don't. I don't think he. Sometimes he as he's grown now, he's gotten older now. It's finally hit him. But as a younger person, it's just like, you know, they so influenced by what they see and what's going on in hip hop. It's just like that's the strength of hip hop. And when you under 21 and your people that you actually say you fuck with is Snoop Dogg, T.I., Jermaine Dupri. Your energy is, I mean, you know, I ain't had that, so I can't really say.
I can dig that.
You know what I mean? But his energy is cocky.
Yeah.
You know, and you got #1 records on top of these your homeboys. These the only people you got as your people too, by the way. You ain't got no Mac Boney, you ain't got no.
That's it.
You ain't got that.
This is your group member. I'm in here, me and JD doing next.
I need to tell these people I'm on my way.
All right, yeah, so we wasn't even supposed to be talking that long, but you know what I'm saying? You just so goddamn interesting, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got so much shit going on, man. You so interesting. Why wasn't Nelly on your label? Because all of us are partners, right? Yeah. Me, you, Mo, Bow Wow, you know what I'm saying? Usher, you know what I mean? We all partners. We all hang out together, chill, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, your place was one of the first, I guess, millionaires boys clubs that I could come to before I became a millionaire in the boys club. And it was always, Mo was always there. Usher's always there. Bow Wow's always there. And so I'm trying to figure out, because I heard a story that you had an opportunity to sign Nelly and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
How is that?
It was in my vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
It was never a conversation had like sign me.
Right.
It was in the space.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But Nelly was always moved by Kuda love.
Mm-hmm.
And Kuda was, you know, Kuda was the person who basically brought Nelly into the game.
Mm-hmm. Is this the same Kuda from Mace?
Yeah, same
okay.
Kuda. And I was, you know, one of the things that I always tried to stay away from in this business was trying to look like I was stepping on another man's property.
Hold up. Wait a minute. You know the Emancipation Proclamation says that
I'm saying
you
as
can't
far
own people, JD.
I'm talking about as far as when it comes to that type of business.
You saying just another man's artist?
Yeah, if you got an artist, I'm not gonna pursue your artist. You know what I'm saying? If we friends, we friends. I'm not
Your girl, however.
Huh? I'm not gonna pursue your girl either. I'm cool. I ain't gonna do it. But I mean, you know, we were just.
But he seemed like such a so-so deaf artist.
100%, and he wanted to be. But at the same time, he also was being represented by somebody who wanted what So Def was doing. Right? For themselves, and I'm just like, I know how much it took me to get to where I'm at. Right. I'm not into trying to like fuck nobody out of they. You know, if it's, you know, people ask me that to this day. Like, it's a couple of kids from the rap game that's taking off and they doing better. You know, what I mean, they doing good, and I'm not getting ready to not listen. We all got to start from somewhere.
That was your strap music artist right there.
No, it wasn't at the time.
I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know what the fuck has happened. We'll get into this a little later. I don't know what the fuck happened. I looked up.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah. So yeah.
All right. So that's how. Nelly didn't end up.
Yeah. I mean, it was because it was like my party, right? I think they all came because I was having these big birthday parties and Nelly came down and at the time it was just like, you know, at the time I'm still this young guy running a record company, doing shit that people already didn't think was gonna happen. So just me touching other things and places that, you know, artists from different cities and all of that was still difficult. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I wasn't moving around like that. I was doing what I was basically capable of doing. I didn't believe that I still had hit that spot where I could just be like, I'm gonna just grab every artist and I'm gonna do this, because I felt like I knew how much work goes into what I do. Right. You know what I mean? I'm in the studio and I'm making the music. That's a different story than just like a A&R. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a different story than being a regular CEO. Like Doug Morris don't sit in the studio every night. Right. You know what I'm saying? These guys don't. I'm spending 24, 23 hours in the studio and going to my office for an hour or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that. So a lot of times I feel like, man, I'm it's too much. I'm worrying about this, and I want to see all my artists to the end. Right. Once I get you to that finish line, then I'm off. I'm gonna go to somebody else. But until we get to that finish line, I'm gonna stay with you. And even if I have to miss something in the midst of me staying with the artist, that's just what I do.
Right. So all of us, we get together, and I know it was a viral clip that went out of me and you and Mo talking about just him kind of and his transition.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? You are more understanding of it than any of us. Me and Mo, like, man, knock it off, nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We say this very lovingly because he like our little brother. He really is like a little brother to us. Yeah. So anytime you ever hear me publicly or privately critique Bow Wow, it's because, you know, it's out of love. It's out of a place of love and appreciation for him, where he came from to the culture. That's the only. He was famous before me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was at home trying to figure out how to get in the game, and this motherfucker pops up on the Arsenio Hall show.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he can tell me a lot about how to be a celebrity.
Yeah.
But he needs somebody to kind of tell him how, you know, how to transition his way into manhood.
Yeah. 100%.
Outside of just being a celebrity. Because one thing I feel like helped me, and you know, a lot of us, even people like Mo, you, like before I became a celebrity, I was a little bad-ass tip from Bankhead. I knew who I was, you know what I'm saying? I didn't become a celebrity first and have to figure out who I was.
Yeah.
And that must be a very difficult thing. And so that's why I try to always just, you know, plant seeds that you ain't gonna get this right now. You ain't gonna just agree with what I'm saying today, but once I plant this seed, you'll find yourself in a situation, it's gonna grow into a thought that you thought you came up with. You know what I'm saying? And that's how people begin to evolve.
Well, I think in like you say, I'm always understanding the Bow Wow situation a little different than everybody. I think in his defense, which ain't really no defense, but I think the same thing that happened with me with the female rap thing is the same thing that happens with Bow.
Got you.
Because
people take his shit out of context.
Not take it out of context. You forget who you actually are to the people.
We all do that.
Yeah, but I'm saying
we've all had a moment of that, and I know I have.
Yeah, but see,
we talk like we talking to each other in a room without cameras and mics, not knowing that we popular or famous enough for the entire world to chime in on this particular discussion. So we must be more careful with what we say.
And I think that's what Bow Wow, that's the part that Bow Wow has had and still has to learn, is because he don't realize people watched him grow up. Right. So when people watch you grow up, right, like you just talked about my childhood that nobody know about. Right. But when people watch you and they know what they seen and they done seen you grow up and they done seen you turn into this person, they expect you to be a certain way.
This the first thing. It's real hard. I'm talking this. It's just a daunting task to grow up in the spotlight. Everybody's seeing you from 5, 6 years old up to 25, 26 years old. You've always been famous. You've always had affluence. It's hard to put yourself in the position of the tough guy. And that's the one thing that when it get to the gangster shit, that's when I'm like, see, that's something you can't sell. You can't sell that because the gangsters was being gangsters when you was on Arsenio Hall. 100%. So that's what people, but then that's the disconnect.
But then he also goes back to where he was when I met him. When I met him, his name was Kid Gangster.
Huh?
That was his rap name.
That was a horrible idea.
that was his name. He was signed to Death Row.
He was Death Row. Oh, now it all makes sense.
He was signed to Death Row.
Now it all makes sense.
Exactly.
It all makes sense.
His name was Kid Gangsta, and he was signed to Death Row. And the first time y'all heard Bow Wow was on Snoop Dogg record when Snoop say, "Hey, you back there with them French braids, what you want to be when you want to grow up? I want to be a motherfucking gangster." That's Bow Wow. That's Bow Wow.
You better ask somebody.
Yeah, that's Bow Wow. That's where he comes from. Before he meet Jermaine Dupri, that's who Bow Wow is.
Yeah, man, but that's kind of like, right, if, let me see.
Now, I'm not saying I make it right. I'm just telling you how
I get
what
it.
makes me understand it.
I mean, it's also dangerous because that's just like me watching General Hospital, and I watch that shit every day.
Why?
And then I go. No, I'm saying that's just like if that were the case, if I would have watched General Hospital every day, and then go and try and perform a surgery. You see what I'm saying? Like it's other parts of this shit that I have no experience in. So even though I like this shit and I might understand some of it, I can't never present myself as no motherfucking physician.
True.
You see what I'm saying? And I think that's the thing. But it's hard though to differentiate, to his defense. But I think he's doing much better. And, you know what I'm saying, I got a lot of love, respect, and, you know what I'm saying, appreciation for the person.
Oh, if he ain't JD, he's a young T.I. That's what I hear.
Man, you can't keep saying that.
I mean, listen.
Because I think that's the thing because when you call him a young T.I.,
I'm only saying that because y'all made these songs.
We did.
Y'all wrote these songs. That's all I'm saying.
No, but hear me out. When I say that, but when he hears that, that's what he's going to expect of himself. And he shouldn't.
That's what I was talking about.
He shouldn't. Cause he's unique in his own way. He's the first Bow Wow.
100%.
He's not the second JD. He's not the second T.I. He's not the second Nelly. He the first Bow Wow. Yeah. And I think that's what he got to come to understand it. So all right. So we got other artists like Jagged Edge, Franchise Boy, Bone Crusher, man, so many, and you still fuck with all of them to this day. Yeah. How do you maintain such great relationships with your artists? And by the way, Pimpin' in here from the Franchise Boy, who now has become a phenomenal producer himself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. But how do you maintain such a great relationship with your artists?
Don't rob them. You know what I mean? Just keep, and that separates your relationship. Make sure they get what they supposed to get. Mm-hmm. And don't stand in the way of them getting what they supposed to get. Right. And understand what you supposed to get. And make sure they understand what you supposed to get. And
up front.
What you supposed to get ain't what they supposed to get. not in a bigger, smaller way, but just understanding that my percentage is my percentage and theirs is theirs.
You hell, JD.
No, I'm not.
This nigga's the real wizard, man.
I'm just saying. I mean, if you keep it, I learned from mistakes of other people. Like, you can't. Why get involved with that? That's a lot why I don't manage a lot of these artists. I let them find managers because, I know I'm already looked at as the guy that's getting all the money. Yeah. But that ain't the case, right? I'm not the dude that's making all the money. I'm making what I'm making. I'm making what I should make to make the music. But it's all these other avenues out here that's still open for you to get the money. Okay. You know what I mean?
I can dig that.
That's one of the conversations that we had with Escape. When I had Escape and we had that conversation and Candy couldn't understand that. What she didn't understand was that, Candy, I wrote the music.
That mean publishing.
So regardless of where y'all go
and I produce
and who do a movie, right. I don't have to direct shit.
Right.
I don't have to produce nothing.
Right.
I wrote the songs. Right. You can't do Just Kicking It without saying Jermaine Dupri.
That's right.
That's it. I don't gotta have nothing else to do with any other money. If somebody give y'all $30-40 million to make a movie, I don't get none of that. Mm-hmm. But that publishing part, when them songs
when they got
come,
to clear the masters.
Yeah, you gotta clear that, and that's all it is. And once even with that conversation with them, it was hard for them to understand that, especially Candy. But once they heard that, she understood. I'm not. That's
when they started to write.
No. This was recent. Once we started doing these tours, when we was going on the tour, we started to do the shows, and they came back and they started doing these shows. We had this conversation because, you know, Candy. I think they was gonna do the life story on Escape.
Yeah, we still doing it.
Right, and I'll have nothing to do with it.
You'll be in there.
I will be in it, but I'm saying once again, like I said, my part is my part.
We're gonna get Bow Wow to play the young JD.
I'm just saying, my part is my part.
Right.
Regardless of how the story go, regardless who make the story, you can't leave out my part. And I think that's all I ever try to make sure the artists understand. Like, you man. Your manager's you. That's what y'all doing. I'm just a record company. If I ain't the record company, I'm the producer.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you keep it like that and you make sure that you stay right there, you should be cool with people.
And then, like, so Mariah, one of the biggest albums that she ever had in her illustrious career came from Jermaine Dupri.
Somewhere in there, so, yeah.
What you mean?
I ain't take all the credit. I don't want to take all the credit, but I had a couple songs on it.
I mean, that, and nobody really was expecting for her album to take off the way it did at that point in her career.
Mm.
How did you reshape and re-image, repackage that and present it the way it was presented?
Because we had success first on one of her albums. I think one of her, she had 2 albums to go diamond. So on one of the albums that went diamond, the first song I ever worked with her was Always Be My Baby. And I know that the way people felt from that song, I was like, yo, if we gonna make a record, we gotta try to figure out how to capture that same energy. Right. And that was L.A. Reid's favorite song, and that's the reason why he suggested that we work together. Most of the time when people go in the studio, people don't believe that you can capture the same energy that you did once you make a hit record. Me, I'm more or less trying to understand that every time I'm in the studio. How do I get to this song? What did we do to get to this space? And what can we do now to have similar energy but make a different type of song? And all I told her was that since that song, I haven't heard her sing out, you know. And, you know, when Mariah and Whitney came out, singing was a thing, right?
Right.
Then Escape came out and singing was a thing. Then we start going through this period of R&B where singers wanted to be rappers.
Right.
And they start fearing singing too much because they didn't think people was going to digest it right.
Right.
And when you're an artist such as Mariah Carey, them digesting you singing is all people want to digest.
That's right.
They don't want.
That's what they came to see.
Yeah, they don't want to digest anything else.
Right.
They want to digest you hitting the high note.
Mm-hmm.
You hit the high note, they good.
Right.
And that's the conversation we had.
And that led to
Song of the decade.
Some more millions.
Yeah.
Another 10 million sold.
Somewhere.
And what about Jagged Edge, bro? How did you say, when are we gonna get another Jagged Edge album with JD?
I pray that we do. You know, I pray that we do. I feel like a Jagged Edge, once again, is a group that I just make the music, and I don't write for them.
You don't write the song?
Yeah, I don't write the songs.
Okay.
Not that that's taken away from any of the songs been big and they done had big songs, but that's the only one of my groups that I actually just make music for.
You just make they pick the beat, then they write the song, then they go in there and sing it.
And then they got somebody else that manage them and somebody else do. I mean, I'm the record label, so we pick the singles, but for the most part, that's the only one. And I know I did this special where I show artists that I work with, and I talked about all these different artists, and they, you know, they weren't a part of the project, and they got a little disturbed with me about it. And I was like, well, only reason y'all wasn't a part of this is because I was talking about artists that I actually write for. Because it was about my writing and how I write. And
you didn't even say, well, the only artist on our label that I don't write for.
Nah, because I don't want. Because you know, like I said, I'm really about not taking nobody credit. If you did something, you did it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, in this world that we live in, everybody, Jermaine Dupri did this. I don't do everything. Right. You know what I'm saying? I do what I do. I don't do everything, and I know when somebody say I did it, and that person that did it right there, you know,
they have a bad taste in their mouth.
They got a bad taste in their mouth. Just like Pimpin'. The reason why me and Pimpin' is cool, I never took credit for franchise beats.
Right.
I just signed them.
Right.
I just felt like they had an energy that the world needed to hear.
Bankhead energy.
Yeah, bankhead
West
energy.
Side energy.
You know what I mean? I never took credit.
Parlay from Allen Temple, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Over
he
there
is
in the 9.
Pimp too.
Oh, Pimp, you from Allen Temple?
Yeah, Pimp from Allen Temple.
Come in, Pimp. Come in, Pimp. You know what I'm saying? I always knew I saw Parlay over there in the 9, you know, which is right behind Allen Temple.
Yeah, Pimp from
What'd you say, Pimp? Come on, clear it up. Straighten it out, man. Straighten it out, Pimp.
Nah, I'm from the Temp. Parlay from Born On.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, we broke the bridge because, you know, it always used to be a little beef between.
Yeah, Allen Temple and Born Home,
so
they never get along.
Used to be over there, and then Shawty Low came over there.
Right.
They did a little song called The Money Remix. And they just killed everything.
Right on. And shit, man. And right now, man, you goddamn took off as a producer from that. But today, you still doing shit. Like, you did the record. I heard the record with Casino, man. The low-key record. I heard that shit in the club. And you ever heard a record when you was out and like, man, why ain't this shit playing everywhere?
Yeah.
That's exactly how I felt about that shit instantly. Yeah. So I just told Casino, man, I'm finna get on this motherfucker. We finna shoot another video and we gonna put this shit out. Yeah. And that's what we did. That was one of the dopest experiences that I've had in this shit. And we gonna continue to build on top of it.
But it's so crazy how that happened though, bro, cause they called me over to the studio to clear a record.
What?
And he was just like, bro, you got some beats. That's the first beat I played.
What?
Crazy.
That's some dope shit. All y'all motherfuckers just kind of find ways to create opportunities and maximize off of them. Absolutely. That's what Atlanta does. I think it's an Atlanta thing. I think that's what we do here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's what we...
And like, not to cut you off, but like, speaking of that, like, Pimp work out my studio. He probably made the beat in my studio.
Right.
I don't take no credit, no money, none of that, but none of that you talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's that man thing. I just like the energy, man. I like the fact that I know he got something that I don't got.
Right.
I know he's from a different part of this city than where I'm from.
Absolutely.
His relationship's different.
Right.
And you can always use that energy in this world that we live in.
Yeah. So look, man, last thing I want to ask you, JD. This is the last thing. If you could switch careers today and be anything else besides a producer or you know, an artist, creator, if you had to pick another profession, what would that be?
A movie director.
You would direct movies.
Yeah.
What's stopping you from directing movies, man?
I mean, I'm headed in that direction, but I mean, I feel like it's what I do amplified times 30, 40 times. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, because I could tell a story in 3 minutes, but to tell a story in 3 hours, to tell that same story in 3 hours, is you gotta be, you know, you gotta get down in that bag a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they got more writers. They got writers' rooms with a collective of people. There ain't really a bunch of Tyler Perrys out here, but
right.
You know, and that's just writing. I'm just saying, but from a director standpoint, I feel like I see a lot of things that I feel like people don't do, and that's, you know, and I've been doing that, and I feel like that's definitely space that I'd be in.
Now, I know I said that was my last question, but it was the second to the last because before we get out of here, we got to talk about the rap game, how that came up, how like what was the vision for the rap game, and if you know, is it another season coming or?
I feel like the company that we did it with, Lifetime, they didn't understand what they actually had.
Right.
You know, they don't understand my ability to call T.I.,
right,
call this person, call that person. They think that's all like natural shit.
Right.
It's natural for me.
You make it look effortless.
Okay, but it ain't. That's not. You know.
They can't do it.
Yeah. You
without
can't
a check.
Yeah, they can't do it, and they can't do it, and this person can't do it. And
right.
I feel like we come too far as hip hop to be in business with people that don't understand what the fuck we doing.
Right.
And what it is that we do. If you get in business with me, everybody that's in business with me should understand Jermaine Dupri's power.
Right.
If you get in business with Tip, you should understand his power.
Right.
And you should use his power to your advantage. I shouldn't have to argue with you to use my power. Right? And I don't like being in situations like that.
So that relationship, it perished.
It's been going like that because different people would leave and somebody leave and we had to fight for this and, you know, and it was just like, I'm like, You don't even understand. This is a show that y'all have a hand on something that nobody else has.
Right.
We doing something that no other person is doing. This is not a copy of anything. And I don't like arguing about, and it puts me back in my same space as like I was in the studio. If I can't get you to do what I'm doing, then I got to go do it myself.
Damn. Well, man, I appreciate you, bro. It's been an amazing conversation. I've learned so much about, you, your career, and how you've managed to evolve into the mogul that you are today, because this shit ain't easy.
Not at all.
To stick around and stay relevant. You know what I mean? And the one thing, me and you, we have a great relationship now, but I didn't fuck with you because you left me off the Welcome to Atlanta. The song originally and remix. That man went and got every motherfucking body else but me, and I was mad, upset. I didn't fuck with you for a little while, but we got past that. You know what I'm saying? And we actually haven't worked together as much as people probably would assume that we should, given our relationship and given, you know what I'm saying, our career paths. But I have a lot of respect, admiration, and appreciation for the shit that you've done in this city and for this culture.
Same for
you
me.
know what I mean? So
I feel
salute.
like it's the same.
Right on.
Same
Now I know I said that the word of the week would be serendipity, which is an unexpected coincidence. Basically, that's what serendipity is. But I feel like, I think I've already used that word. So let's see here. I'm going to go into my bag of. Here we are.
Give me a word. Let me get a word.
Yeah.
We gonna run with this word.
Yeah, absolutely. The word for today is schism.
Schism. Okay.
It's a small word, but it's big because don't nobody know it. Schism. Schism is a split or division between strongly opposed sections or parties caused by differences in opinions or belief. All right, now I'm going to use it in the sentence.
Okay.
I'm going to use it in the sentence so people who listening can go back to work or school or wherever they go, and they can use that shit and act like they done known it their whole life, giving me nor you no credit. But fuck it, that's what we do here at expediTIously. All right, schism. JD made it a point not to be romantically involved with his artist, so he would not create a schism that would separate the artist and producer relationship.
100%.
All right.
Yeah.
So this has been expediTIously. Thank you again, Jermaine.
My guy.
It's me, JD Dupri.